Hi, this is Jeff Glenellis, and this video is going to walk you through the process of converting your Cynthia Macy templates into a Renko chart, or putting it into a Renko charting environment, I guess I should say. I had a discussion with Cynthia a few days back, and she mentioned that she has a number of people on her mailing list, a number of clients who are interested in Renko, but who just don't quite understand the process. They don't even understand why we would use Renko charts instead of just regular time-based charts. And she asked me if I'd put this video together for her. So here we are. What you're looking at right now is in fact a Renko chart. This is the Euro US dollar, and these are what are called 5-pip Renko boxes. Now, to understand Renko, what you need to know is that when price moves up X number of pips, and you can control the value for X within the Renko setup process, and I'll go over that in a minute, you decide the pip size for your boxes. Like I said, these are 5-pip boxes. So when price closes, say, in an upward move and moves 5 pips, in this case it's moved to 22.45 to close. If it moves up another 5 pips to 22.50, a blue box will close. And you can see that's what happened in the case where the arrow is at on my chart. And then it moved up another 5 pips to 22.55 and also closed there. Then it moved down. You can see a red box closed. And so this requires a movement of 10 pips because when you close here at the top, that's a 5-pip move. So price comes back 5 pips. And then has to come down an additional 5 pips for the red box to close, and so thus this box closed again at 22.45. This is how a Renko box works. And like I said, I chose just a 5-pip box just because it's a 5-pip box. I mean, you can set it for anything you like. A lot of trading I do for scalping is 2-pip boxes. For my longer-term trading, I'll use up to a 20-pip box if I'm looking for some major price swings. So that's basically how a Renko chart works. Now, the important thing you need to understand about the Renko boxes is this is not a time-based chart. This basically, when price moves up 5 pips, the blue box closes. If it reverses and moves down the full 10 pips, you get a red box that closes. This can happen in a minute. This can happen in an hour. It can happen in any amount of time that you can imagine. On slow days, particularly around holidays, I've watched a single 5-pip box remain open for over 2 hours before a price move caused a new box to open either up or down. So this really, time has no meaning in here. And the value that we get out of this is that it removes all of the noise from the time-based charts, and I'm going to show you in a second what I mean by that. You only get a new box when price is moved, X number of pips, and like I said, in this case, 5 pips up or down. The problem with time-based charts, especially if you're using indicators, is that you can find yourself in a long period of time where price really doesn't move up or down all that much, but in the course of these new candles opening, your indicators are going to factor those new prices into the equation that indicator relies upon, and you're going to find yourself with a variety of signals being issued that really turn out to be of very little value. And let me show you what I mean by that. All right, right now what you're looking at on this Renko chart, I put in what's called a MACD true. It's a 2-line MACD. You've got lines that cross up and down, for signals, and then there's also a little green-based histogram here in the background. Now, I put that on the Renko chart. I want to show you something. You notice that it was completely flat here at the beginning of the session. If you can see this dotted white line that's running vertically through the chart, this is the opening of the session for yesterday. This morning is the 20th of January. This was Friday the 19th, 2018. And you notice that the MACD remained flat. You finally began getting a little bit of activity here around what is 401 on the charts. Now, these are Traders Way charts. They're based, the server is based out of Europe somewhere. 401 on the chart would be actually 201 in the morning in the UK. It would be 901 in the evening here in the East Coast, Eastern time zone, and then of course in Asia it's 9 or 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, whatever time it is where you're at in Asia. But you're going to notice that the line crossed, and it just moved up. The signal basically was a buy signal. The blue line was above the red line, and it continued to move up, starting at, like I said, what was basically 9:01 in the evening my time, and it peaked here at 11:36. Now this would be 9:36 in the morning UK time, and 4:36 in the morning East Coast time. But it's just basically one signal up. Now, a few minutes later, you got the crossover to the downside. That occurred on this box right here. Again, this is 11:39, which would be 9:39 in the morning UK time, and like I said, it was 4:39 in the morning East Coast time. And if you look at the indicator on the Renko, you'll notice that basically price continued to move down. As it moved down, you had some price reversals. These are basically 10 pip price swings, 15 pips in this case. But the MACD remains basically in a sell mode. The lines did come up and kiss down here later in the morning. This is around 10 o'clock in the morning East Coast time. It kissed again later in the afternoon, up about noon East Coast time, and again they merged right here at the very end of the day. All right, but essentially you've got one buy signal that occurred in the evening time of the 18th, Thursday evening East Coast time. And then right after London opened, around an hour and a half after the open, you got a sell signal. Now, these are 5 pip boxes, remember, so your buy signal came in somewhere around 22.50, and the price peaked up here at 22.95. So that's a 45 pip price move. Doesn't mean you're going to get it all, but certainly by the time price moved back into a sell signal, you would have captured around 30 pips on that move. And then the sell signal occurred at around 22.80, and price closed down here at 22.20. So that's a 60 pip move. So basically you had about a 30 pip move and a 60 pip move that you could have grabbed using a Renko chart and nothing more than just a simple MACD. But now let me show you on a 5-minute chart, because the 5-minute chart actually mimics the 5 pip box pretty closely. Let me show you how things would have worked out for you had you been a 5-minute chart trader with that chart. We have to go back to basically back almost to the start of the session here. Again, it remained flat for about the first hour or so. You got a little bit of a sell signal. It went maybe 7 or 8 pips and it reversed. Then you got a buy signal. It went 7 or 8 pips and it reversed again. Now, are you going to be able to get any of this? Maybe 2 or 3 pips, but there's a very good chance you could find yourself in a lot of trades that essentially go nowhere and take you out, hopefully at break even, if not with a small loss. You had another sell signal here that basically was just noise based. It ran between about 35 and 42, so about 7 pip range. And again, if you got out, then great, but at the cross you would have been getting out at a loss, in a situation with a loss. This would end up being about a 13 pip move, but if you waited for the crossover, essentially you got out again, more or less at break even. Not too bad of a move here to the upside. You could have gotten in around 43 and went up to almost 70, so that actually would be a pretty good move. You would need it because you've probably dumped a bunch of pips here in the first couple of hours. But the point is, if you look at this, remember on the Renko chart we had 2 trades. We had a buy trade and we had a sell trade. And here we had a sell trade that didn't cross over until, well, actually right here or right here, either one, which the prices are above your entry. So, losses. This is the point. Renko gets rid of all this crap. And basically all you get are some good, solid signals in most cases that do move far enough to make it worthwhile. Now, in a 24-hour period, you're probably not going to get both trades. You're probably not trading at 9 o'clock at night in East Coast and then hauling yourself out of bed at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and trade again. But the point is, you don't have to, because you do get these signals pretty much around the clock. So anyway, that's the point of trading with Renko, is you remove all of these smaller trades, or most of the smaller trades that go nowhere, and generally can focus only on the bigger moves. And with the bigger moves, you make the bigger pips. So having said that, and having gone through about 10 minutes already on that explanation, let me show you how to set up a Renko chart very quickly so that you can convert your Cynthia templates over into a Renko chart. All right. What we're looking at now is this is the pound yen. It's at the 1 hour time frame. What you want to do is you want to change it to a 1 minute time frame. All right, so it's at 1 minute. Now what you're going to do is you're going to need to add a Renko indicator to the chart. And so Renkos are a custom indicator. They do not come with Mac or with the MT4. You have to get them from an outside source and add them to the platform, but that's beyond what we're talking about here right now. I have it here in my indicators list, so I click on this to add it to my chart. Now this is the Renko setup. Under a common tab, you always want to make sure that the allow DLL imports box is checked. You need that in order for this to work, because it allows the DLLs that are within the platform to convert an offline chart into an online chart, which you will see in just a moment. Then under the inputs, you have the Renko box size. This is where I was saying that you have the alternative of setting the box sizes to whatever you desire, whatever size works out best for you. I use 2 pips a lot. I use 20 pips a lot. For our purposes now, I'm just going to set this to 5 pips. You can set it for whatever you like. There is an they question you about what time frame you want to use. The default is 2. You're going to open up a 2-minute chart. Now, a 2-minute chart is not part of the platform. You will create that chart in the offline chart scenario using the Renko indicator. And what happens is, this indicator takes the live price feed off of the 1-minute chart and it funnels it to the offline 2-minute chart, effectively turning that into a live chart, as you will see in just a moment. The beauty of this, though, is that if you want to run, say, multiple box sizes on one particular pair, you can change this to a 3, to a 4, to a 6, a 7, 8, a 9, anything that doesn't correspond to an existing time-based chart. So you can't use 1, you can't use 5, you can't use 15, you can't use 60, you can't use 240. Those are existing charts. But you can set it to any of the other odd numbers, and you can get multiple charts on the same pair open. So anyway, once that's done, you've got your box size set, and you have the DLL imports box checked. You click OK. You'll get a little script up here that tells you to open the offline 2-minute pound yen chart. So you go to the File tab. You click the Open Offline option. This brings the Open Offline chart up. You go to the pound yen, which is down here a little ways. Find it. Click on the 2-minute option, M2. Then you click on Open. And this opens for you a pound yen Renko chart. Now, it doesn't look like some of the charts that you saw earlier that's Renko. It's just basically just the green lines up and down. You add a template, and when you add the template, this will create the chart. Now, like I said, we're going to open up a Cynthia template. So you just simply, assuming these are already preloaded into your platform, you right-click, you choose template. Here's Cynthia's trend and flat. We click on that. Now, in my case, this does take a minute. I have a kind of a slow computer, but actually that went pretty quick. Good. I was afraid this was going to take longer. But there you go. There's your her trend and flat system as an option, and so it is just that easy. And you can play around really with the box sizes that you like. I've been using 2-pip boxes. I think one of my guys in my trade room named Bob has been using 2-pip boxes as well. I think that's what he told me. I'll have to double check that with him. But what I do know is that he's been knocking out 40 and 50 pips a day using this same Cynthia setup on a couple different pairs, and has been getting some very, very good trades. And now, if you're familiar with her system, the trend and flat system, it eliminates a lot of trades that you might otherwise be willing to jump into, because the background color telling you that you should either be buying or selling, depending on whether you are above or below the entry point at the most recent 4-hour candle, tends to help you eliminate a lot of trades. Now, yes, occasionally you miss a good trade, but most of the time what you're missing are some bad trades, or at least trades that don't go far enough to justify ever getting into the trade to begin with. So by using this background color to help you sort of eliminate a lot of trades that go nowhere, you're able to focus more on the ones that actually are of value, 15, 20, and 30 pip trades. So this has certainly been a good deal for him. Like he said, his first day of trading it more than paid for her system, to the point that he actually went out and now bought her advanced system. essentially from the profits that he's made from using it and using it on Renko charts. So it's Renko is a great way to eliminate a lot of the noise, and then you combine that with Cynthia's system, which also further eliminates some of the other trades that might otherwise look good. You really find yourself focusing mostly on good trades. So it's well worth the time to go through and set up the charts Renko style. Now below this on the YouTube, assuming you're watching it on YouTube, you're going to find some links. I have a link to Cynthia's system if you don't have that already. I have another link to my site, which is simpleforexsystem.net. That's where we have the entire Renko package available for you if you want that. And I'm also going to include one more link, and that is to the previous YouTube where I went over Cynthia's system in a lot more detail and used Renko charting at the same time. So if you want to see more on that, I'll put a link there below. So check the box below where the links are usually found, and you'll find 3 of them there. So one of them will be to her system, one will be to the Renko package, and the other one will be to the previous video. Anyway, I hope you found this to be valuable. This actually went a little longer than I thought it would, as most of my videos do. But there was actually turned out to be a lot of data to cover. I want to make sure you're as fully informed as I could make you. So I hope you found it enjoyable, and I look forward to making more videos for you in the future. So thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.